Hi to you all out there in YouTube land. This is my very first video ever and the first part of my tutorial series on how to make a PHP login system. Okay, to start off with, I'm going to start off with setting up the database. To do that, we're going to open up PHP MyAdmin or whatever you're using to do your MySQL. I simply create a table called login.php. A database called login.php because it's a login tutorial. I created three folders within the database. A bans folder, which is going to take care of banning our users if they were doing anything bad, whatever. Temporary reg folder, which will store their information temporarily until we verify it. And then once they're verified, we can move them on to the users table. Let's take a quick look at the ban table here. And if it ever opens up, you can see I already got someone banned there. I was testing it. ID, auto increment, primary key, user ID, put it in as unique because you don't ban users twice. That would be the ID of the user getting banned, his username, the ID of the person that banned him, the start date of the ban, and the end date, and a little description of why you got banned or whatever you want to put in there as a note. But we're not talking. Let's move on to the reg temp table, and we're going to use this table to temporarily store the user information until it's verified. Again, we have an ID. This is pretty much standard for all my tables. Usually the first field in pretty much all my tables is the ID table, primary key, auto increment, username, varchar password, which will, it's a big 75 varchar. The reason why it's so big is it's going to be an MD5 encrypted, so people can't read the password, and you'll see that later on. His email or referral code, which is a handy thing to have in case we want to do some promotions or some other stuff. It's a really cool functionality to have that we might get into later on. Confirmation code, a code he'll need to confirm his identity and his email. We'll show you that later on. And of course, the date he registered. Let's move on, take a look at the users table. And if at any time you need to pause this to see the full structure of the MySQL table, go ahead and pause it. It's pretty straightforward. You shouldn't have too much of a problem setting this up. Again, the ID 1 to 6 is pretty much the same as you can find in the temp reg. Concept number 7 is ban, which is going to hold the ID that I can use to find in the ban table if he's banned. So if there's anything other than the default 0, I know he's banned and I can look him up in the ban table. User level, and that's just for a simple access system, so we can set it up so he has an access level of 1, you can only access certain pages. With an access level of 4, you can access more pages. Access level of 5, you can access different pages, and maybe we'll show you that later on, but that's not for this tutorial. For now on, let's move on down to some basic PHP here. First thing I want to show you is the index page. I don't know why I showed you. There's really nothing here. Everything that happens in the index page, I've pretty much moved over to the login.php, and I did that well because I want to separate it, so I'm using this for something else as well, and I just find it a little bit more handy to have the include once there. Before I do anything more on the login, let's take a look at my login functions. This is where I'm going to put all the functions needed for the system. Obviously, my database connect, pretty straightforward. In yours, it's probably not going to be localhost root. You might have a password of some sort. But this is fine for me, and running this on Winamp in my local system, so I'm not too concerned about a password right now. When I put it on a free server, I'll definitely have to change that. But okay, style, some very basic CSS. Just declared a couple divs and set some of their properties. So I can tiny pretty it up a bit. I'm not going to get too much into the CSS and the look of it right now. Because right now we're just going to deal with the functionality. Maybe later on we'll go back and spruce things up with some actual CSS. Let's go back to the login page. You can see the login page. It's just a standard login form. But up here I have session start. I'm going to start a session and assign a token to that session and a variable called token. So later on when I submit the form, I'm going to compare the token in the sessions to the token in the variable that was submitted with the post, and if they match, it's a valid form submission. If not, it's not. It's a common way of verifying a valid form submission. A lot of people use it. I use it a lot. I think it's pretty good. As you see right here, I created a hidden variable, added a little PHP code to echo out the value of the login token. Anyway, before we can get into anything else, we're going to have to do registration. That's going to be in part 2, so I'm going to leave you here for now, and I'll see you back in part 2. Thanks a lot. Have a good one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to click on the like button, join my channel, or leave a comment. Thanks for watching.